The future of electric air travel is upon us, Darren reports from NASA Armstrong, plus Maker Faire is all about Arduino and Raspberry Pi this year. All that and more, this time on Hack 5. This episode of Hack 5 is brought to you by Domain.com.
Hello, welcome to Hack 5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
I like turtles!
And this is your weekly dose of tech. Now, don't tell them about the turtles yet. We're weeks from launch.
I have a pet turtle.
Oh, you do?
No. My cat might. She eats turtles. No, just kidding.
Shannon, you know how
Sorry.
she forgot how to do the
I
show.
have so much caffeine and candy. What?
No, we are not making it one of those episodes. I swear to you people,
man.
we have amazing stuff lined up.
We actually do.
We really do. In fact, I have
Is this a new
sticker for the wall.
Why does it say Dryden on it?
Because NASA
Dryden
Armstrong Research Center used to be called Dryden, which it is still like in my heart known as. But then again, Edwards Air Force Base, which it is inside of, used to be called MyRock or MeRock, and things change. So
Okay, I'm gonna
move
find a
forward.
place for
But
this.
we got epic
Where should I
news.
put it?
How about next to the aviation pineapple? Huh?
I'm thinking right here.
Okay, looks good.
Lit up nice by the
Yep.
beautiful red lights.
Actually, I noticed some new ones too. We got some,
Yeah, we do have some new ones.
You came back from Maker Faire with some.
I did. We ended up with Arduino, Maker Faire ones. There's Raspberry Pi. What else? There's iFixit, of
You're
course.
nit pooping? What?
And then,
All sorts of
SparkFun.
good stuff.
Yeah, so I got to check out all sorts of fun things over at Maker Faire, and we'll be talking more about that in just a bit.
Sweet.
Yay.
And I am going to be talking about Leap Tech and electric airplanes and all sorts of cool new futuristic fun things coming out of NASA that I just love their new fast and quick and dirty dev cycle where they just make things go. and airplanes. Airplanes be getting hacked, yo. I hear that airplanes be getting hacked. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's been a pretty crazy week over on ThreatWire. If you guys don't know, ThreatWire is our short format show all about what's threatening security, privacy, and our internet freedoms. We've got a bunch of epic stories, including how thousands of different kinds of routers have been affected with malware. The Venom vulnerability is breaking out of virtual machines, which is crazy scary, and what happens when you hack flight controls while you're on a flight. So you can check out all of those over at HAK5, the Hack 5 channel over on ThreatWire.
Yes, it is your source for security, privacy, internet freedom, and we have been really so
I've been
energized to do
super
it.
excited about that show. I love talking about it. I love learning about what's going on with internet and freedom and my own privacy, because
Yes.
it matters to all of us, whether you know it or not.
Yes, you know what also matters to all of us?
What?
Inexpensive air travel.
Ooh,
Yes. I mean, come on. I think that actually the economics of it is the only way to move the world forward, because if you told all the airlines, like, hey, we've got epic new technology that's like revolutionizes everything, they're going to be like, how does it revolutionize the bottom line? Because that's what really moves the world, sadly.
I miss those days of inexpensive air travel.
Well, that could be back, because this Leap Tech stuff could totally change everything as far as air travel is concerned.
What is Leap Tech, by any chance?
So
It sounds like leapfrog, but that's from elementary school.
It's NASA. Actually, Paul, little known fact, used to work with NASA, and he knows all about the acronyms within acronyms within acronyms. You thought the GNU Linux was like full of acronyms. NASA is. Leap Tech stands for Leading Edge Asynchronous Propulsion, and essentially what it means is it's tightly integrated propulsion into the airframe. You can here's an awesome photo of it. You can kind of think of this as them unboxing the wing here, and you can kind of think of it as like a tightly integrated set of like a redundant array of small electric motors that essentially give you 500% more efficiency than traditional methods with zero emissions because they're electric. And it's a pretty cool joint venture between NASA, ESA Aero, and Joby Aviation, which you may recall.
Joby! Wait, didn't the drone guys
From the
work with
quad
Joby?
shot, it's so weird how small the world is, but quad shot, if you remember from season 10 from DEF CON, that awesome vertical takeoff and landing drone worked for Joby Energy, Joby Aviation's another arm, but they're all, anyway, it's all within the
That's
family.
so funny. So these electric planes, they already exist, right?
Yeah, there
Do
is.
they?
Yeah, no, there are. There's already electric planes, but nothing this sort of efficiency. And I think it's because of the tight integration. To have like 5 times more power, 30% lower cost is what NASA is saying. Again, 0 emissions, and even 15 dBi lower volume, if you will. So there's a lot of benefits of doing this, of putting lots of little motors all along the wing instead of like what we're used to, which is like, you know, Boeing 737, huge wings, gigantic motors, right?
Yeah, right. That makes sense. So did you go down to NASA just to pull a heist and like steal all their planes?
I might have borrowed a rock off the lake bed, but that's not the heist I'm talking about. No. Again, NASA loves acronyms. HEIST stands for Hybrid Electric Integrated System Test Bed. It's their terminology for basically a 35-foot technical demonstrator. It's a wing. It's a wing built out of carbon composites, and it's covered in 18 different electric motors. It, as you can see, looks freaking amazing.
Yeah. And you got to see this actually fly?
Well, okay, so not exactly fly. You see, they need to do some testing to see kind of like how it reacts, how this airframe reacts to the wind and all of those things. And there's no better test than a real world test. And while it would be awesome to put everything into a wind tunnel, as I just found out, it turns out wind tunnels are ridiculously expensive and booked like a year in advance.
Wow.
So in their new like philosophy of like quick turnaround, like they're kind of like hacking stuff together. I mean, a lot of this is
That's
totally
cool.
off the shelf stuff. I mean, like these motors right here, not that different than the ones that Joby's doing for this whole Leap Tech project. So they got the idea actually from Scaled Composites, the makers of Spaceship One, one of my favorite ever spaceships.
Oh, yes.
Now,
Such a pretty spaceship.
now being made by the Spaceship Company. Oh my God, it's so cool. And you guys know that's the spaceship from Virgin Galactic and the whole X Prize and all the good stuff. Well, they got the idea from them, which was basically like, I love it, it's kind of like a Lucas thing, right? Let's just strap the spaceship on the back of a pickup truck and drive real fast, because wind tunnels be expensive. And so
But then they got to deal with like the bumpiness of the road and stuff like that, right?
well, so yeah, that's kind of the thing is in this project for the heist, they strapped it to a giant semi, and they've come up with a really cool technology that's actually very similar to the rubber dampeners inside of my quad here. It's very
weird.
similar. The way that it like allows them essentially to just drive across the Rogers Dry Lake bed on Edwards Air Force Base at like 70 miles an hour and get that same kind of wind that we would get in a tunnel, except without the expense of shipping it over to Virginia and popping it in a very expensive wind tunnel and doing all that stuff.
Okay, so we saw the wing, but they're actually going to put this on a plane, though.
Yeah, that's the idea, is that by 2017, they plan to develop a 1 to 2 megawatt system, and that would be able to power a plane the size of kind of like a Cessna, you know, or a lighter general aviation, kind of like a 4-seater airplane. And from there, you know, scale it up.
Yeah, so actually like allow people to buy into this or do like commercial type purchasing? Or
Well,
what?
that's the hope, right? Is because if the commercial airliners adopt technology like this, we're going to see huge improvements in just aviation in general, right? Because it's quieter, it's lighter, it's more redundant, it's cheaper, and it's pretty cool to see that. I had no idea of this, but in the presentation they were showing us how it turns out 50% of passenger air market is what they call the thin haul market, which is a really short range. And they gave the example of Cape Air, which operates some 750,000 passengers a year across a fleet of 100 different like 9-seater Cessnas, and they could adapt this technology like really soon into that. And so.
Wow.
1 to 10 or 1 to 2 megawatt version would do your smaller planes, but like a 2 to 5 would do your little. I don't know exactly what the scale is, but from what I understand with electric power, and I know this from doing drones, is you just get a bigger motor, bigger propellers, bigger airfoil, bigger electricity behind it. But it's not like jet engines where you hope to maybe get 30% efficiency out of. So we could actually see in the future with like a 5 to 10 megawatt version, like regional jets, that instead of a big wing that has a lot of drag, a really thin wing with lots of integrated propellers across it, that would be quieter and more efficient and better for the world.
So I get that it's going to lower, or it's going to make efficiency better, and it's going to lower the emissions and lower cost, hopefully. But what does it sound like?
That was like something where I was really stunned. So this right here, here's a sine wave of a 500. This is an airplane flying over at 500 feet with a typical 300 horsepower engine.
Okay, so that sounds normal. Heard that before.
Right, that's what we're used to.
Yeah, but this thing is going to have a ton of propellers.
Right, and so what's really interesting about this is, and this is a
Just
really...
going to be louder?
No, this is a really crude demonstration. So what we just heard was like what we're all typically used to hearing, general aviation, Cessnas and other stuff like Beechcraft flying overhead. And we've all heard it before, and it just kind of blends in with the background, but it is really loud because you've got, say, 1 or 2 propellers that are like 6 feet long, and so there's a lot of amplitude in this one frequency range. Well, what's cool about this is, so here are 2 drones, quadcopters, small aircraft, I have to use the right terminology, model aircraft, so that I don't upset everybody at home. They both have 6-inch propellers.
Okay.
But they both sound very different, and the reason is, this is what we call a 60-20 prop, and this is a 60-45 prop. They have a slightly different pitch to them. And there's not just the pitch, but there's like all of these different ways that you can actually change the sound signature of these little small propellers. And so what's really cool when you have an array of, say, 18 propellers across the wing is there's little tweaks that you can do to each of them to make sure that they don't all fall on the same frequency range. Because if they did, they would just compound it, and you would have, like we just saw before, one giant spike in one frequency range, creating a lot of amplitude and making it sound really loud.
Yeah.
So the future would actually, this is a computer simulation of what the similar engine, again, 300 horsepower worth at 500 feet flying over would sound like. It's okay, you can come out.
But there's aliens!
No, there's no aliens, I
But
promise.
it sounded like aliens!
Well,
I don't want to come out.
No, it's probably just Lucasfilms doing their thing.
That was
Light and Magic.
creepy.
I know, wasn't it creepy?
That was so creepy.
So great! It turns out...
It sounds like aliens.
Turns out the Jetsons had it right the whole time. Isn't that so
yeah,
great?
You're right.
I know,
That's so weird.
It sounds like a cross between a helicopter and what I can only imagine is something flying around in the Halo universe.
That's definitely what UFOs sound like from outer space.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I've heard them.
I saw a UFO. Might have been an F-35. Might have been a bird. It was probably a bird. But anyway, okay. I could geek out about this for quite a while. You guys know I am kind of like an aviation geek, and I have to thank NASA for giving me the opportunity to come out to Edwards Air Force Base and to Dryden, Armstrong. Totally. Anyway. Awesome opportunity. In fact, I have so much more B-roll and other fun things about great stuff that I got to see, like the some test craft that Neil Armstrong got to fly, the lunar lander kind of stuff, and some of their other fun craft. Lots of drones. Oh my gosh, the drone stuff. We can talk about this another time. I know that we're running a little long, but I just wanted to bring you that little presentation because this does sound so freaking sweet. I can't wait to see this come to fruition, and it's so great to see them adopting this really quick turnaround cycle of just kind of hacking stuff together. Forget the wind tunnels, just drive it across the lake bed. I love that. So anyway, feedback@hack5.org. That's where you can let us know what you guys think and what you would love to see in the future. And I know in the future we are going to hear all about Maker Faire. But first, I'm going to take a quick break. It doesn't matter whether you're into synchronous propulsion or asynchronous propulsion. When you've got that killer idea, you need to snag yourself a domain name and web hosting fast. And with Domain.com's quick domain discovery system and their easy checkout process, you'll have your website up and running in no time. And I have told you guys before how much I love Domain.com, mainly because they're affordable, reliable, easy to use, but also because they are so much fun on social media. You can tweet them at Domain.com and see why. It's just a fun place to do business. And the guys over at Domain.com, huge fans of Hack5, so they want to hook you up. They have this special coupon code. It's called HAK5. That spells half 5. And with that, you'll get an extra 15% off. So when you think domain names, think Domain.com.
Hey guys, I'm Shannon Morse back at
Maker Faire 2015 in San Mateo, California, here with Jason from Qubit. Hi, Jason. How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you very much. So you are here with Qubit. Exactly what is the Qubit?
So Qubit is a programmable chip that we made, but it uses drag and drop visual programming and plug and play hardware to allow for an easier entry point. But we also offer software flexibility because you can still code in traditional Lua, or you can use a combination of the visual programming language and Lua within the same environment. Same with the hardware flexibility. You have plug and play electronic connectors that plug into this controller, but at the same time, you can get a GPIO connector to wire into your own specific electronics if you want to.
Did you hear that, guys? He said GPIO technology. I know you guys love that kind of stuff. So what kind of ports are normally on here? Is that just the regular ones for your wires?
Yeah, so these are JST connectors that we use, and although we only have 6 on the controller right now, we have a multiplexer smartware. The smartwares is what we call the hardware peripherals that plug into each connector. The multiplexer smartware splits each port to 5 additional ones, so you can have 30 smart ports on a single controller. Yeah.
Does it work with the Arduino as well?
We haven't tested it with the Arduino, but using the GPIO smartware, you should be able to interface Arduino shields without any problem.
That is so cool. Okay, so I know that you guys are doing this on Kickstarter. So how much is it going to cost on there?
So right now we're just looking for $50,000 additional dollars to complete our manufacturing process, and it's been day 4, and I haven't checked lately, but so last time I checked, it was over 70% funded. So yeah, we're really excited.
That's awesome. Congratulations. So my last question, well, a few questions about it, is how does the software work? You said that it's more of a GUI interface. So is this to introduce people to technology and programming?
Right. It's a top-down approach to introducing someone into programming and electronics. So it's very easy. It's a drag and drop. Visual programming means you're just dropping visual control blocks and you're connecting them together using wires. So it becomes a visual flowchart essentially, which is very easy to visualize.
And can I use this on my computer, or do I have to use it in an application, for example?
Right. You can use a Mac or a PC. They both run on Mac and PC.
And if I want to program actually in Lua, if I'm used to that already, can I do that as well through the program?
Yeah, you do it within the same programming environment, which we call the Qubit Workshop. And you can do straight Lua there, you can do visual program there, or you can do a mixture of the both.
And as far as the components that I can add to it, can I do things like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, GPS?
Yeah, it comes with built-in Bluetooth on the controller itself because of the power-saving benefits. We are working on Wi-Fi smartware, GPS smartwares. Right now, for the first launch of Kickstarter, we have 23 different types of smartwares we're offering for the first run.
This is really exciting, Jason. I can't wait to see more of this coming out here. You know, introducing younger kids to technology, helping them understand programming, and I think a GUI interface really does that.
Thank you. Yeah, we're trying to allow that easy entry point, but also removing the ceiling so you can scale it, you can grow it, you can expand to as advanced as you want and end up as, 100% programmer and wiring your own electronics.
Jason, where can people find more information about the Qubit?
You can find it at qfusionlabs.com, or you can go to kickstartqubit.com and check out all the information we have on our Kickstarter page.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate it.
Maker Faire 2015, and I am here with Liam Kennedy, one of my favorite people in the world who created the ISS Above. Hi, Liam, how are you?
Hello, Shannon. The feeling is entirely mutual.
Oh, thank you.
Well, ever since we sat down together in our first interview, back in May of last year, I think it was only 1 year ago. It was only 1 year ago. That's it. It's just amazing. So great to see you here at the Maker Faire.
You too. So you created this thing called the ISS Above, which basically tracks the International Space Station anytime it goes overhead, so you can look outdoors and you can see the station going overhead when the lights are off.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. In fact, this is almost the original version. Wow. And it was just a Kickstarter. I created it for my grandkids, just because I'm their grandpa who calls them from the US. They live in London. And I'd say, hey, go out and see the space station. Well, this thing, I created it using a Raspberry Pi and programmed it so it would do that without me having to be there. Sort of sounds like I'm not doing my grandpa duties now. I still call them, I promise.
I believe you. So I know a lot has changed, and you've gotten a lot of updates in the past year. So I just wanted to get a spiel about what is going on with the ISS Above project.
Yeah, so I'll start off just by saying the first thing that's happened is there were some new cameras launched to the space station about a year ago that give live views of the Earth from space. And I started to look at, well, can I connect with those using a Raspberry Pi? And oh my gosh, could I? Yeah, so in fact, it's actually down here. I'm going to lift it up so that the glass can see it. But it's this actually is showing the orbit right now. And the actual device, again, this. Oh yeah, these are the 6 astronauts up there right now. So we have, and of most important to the U.S. is the Scott Kelly, who's up there for a whole year. But the crazy thing is that this is something that is just running through a Raspberry Pi, and you plug it into your TV, and whenever the space station is in sunlight, it gives you live views of the Earth from space.
So it's currently in darkness at the moment. It's on the other side of the Earth.
Yeah, so I think it's actually now in sunlight, but it's just I couldn't get the video running inside this hall. Yeah. But I think you caught a little snapshot of it earlier, so we should be able to prove it's there. So that's one thing, got that little device going. The other thing I've got is I did another successful Kickstarter for a wearable ISS Above, and this is it, which you actually backed.
I did, yeah. I backed the Kickstarter. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to get mine in the mail.
Yeah. So this is actually an RFduino. So on the back here, it's a custom designed RFduino created by my electronics partner company called Acrobotic, and they're here. But they actually put this together for me. It's got an RFduino, so like an Arduino. It's got Bluetooth on it, plus it's got a real-time clock. And what you purchased was really what's here. It'll come as a kit, so you can attach it to anything, but it will come with this patch. And let me just show you, this is unprogrammed at the moment. But if I just plug the battery in, whoa. Yeah, it's gonna, hey.
It's a little bit bright.
It's a little bit bright. That's right. My grandkids, when they were testing this out when I was in England, they said, "Oh my gosh, I can't see anything afterwards." So anyway, it will be a lot dimmer. You'll have options to have it dimmer.
So what it's going to do once I get mine in the mail and I set it up, program it with the Arduino, it'll light up every time the ISS passes overhead?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so what actually happens is you've got your ISS Above. It comes with a Bluetooth dongle. This actually has one in it here. And when this thing switches on, it says, hey, I need to be programmed. And this thing says, okay, here are the next 50 passes of the ISS. And then at that point, it gets stored in memory, and you can literally you can unplug the battery from this thing, and it will remember it. So it remembers the time. So when it comes back on again, it's all working, and it's just powered by a little battery that you'd use for your phone to emergency charge your phone. So
I don't have to have it connected to my Arduino. I can just walk away as long as it's within Bluetooth range.
Yes, exactly. And it only needs to be programmed, once every week or so. 50 passes, probably 5 to 7 days. So.
Can I see the actual the website for it, the interface?
Oh yeah. So the way that you can find out more information about what's happening with the ISS is to launch the actual website that's on here. And let's just see this. And this is just, so I've got my iPad here. And here it is. So this is showing you the web server that's running on the Raspberry Pi in this device, and that's showing you all of the future passes. So there's actually one at 3 a.m. The one at 4:38 a.m. is visible. Anything with a negative number is visible. And then over here on this side, this is actually a live stream, if you like, of the tweets that are done by the approximately 900 plus ISS Aboves that are all around the world. So whenever the space station comes particularly close, the device says, hi ISS people, waving to you, and people customize the message. So there's now been, I think, nearly 70,000 tweets
That's amazing. I'm so excited about the ISS Above project. I think it's amazing that you're doing this, and I think it's making people aware that there's stations above us, and there are people up there, and they're living out their lives up there.
That is the key thing, because this is a cool gadget. I love the fact that I created this gadget, but it's really not about the gadget at all. What it's really about is having people get a feeling, a connection, an experience of being connected to the astronauts on the station, and also connected to the Earth. And from the feedback I've had from ISS Above customers, it really does make a difference. Even Bill Nye, he's quoted in the Wall Street Journal of saying he's obsessed with his ISS Aboves. And in fact, he's so obsessed by it, you can get an ISS Above by backing the Planetary Society's Kickstarter that just launched on Tuesday. It's already got nearly $500,000. And the ISS Above, there's a special custom version that will track their light sail. It's called Light Sail Above.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Liam. And is there anything else that you want to tell our audience about as far as the ISS Above goes?
Yeah, so I wanted to just say we're here actually in front of the NASA stand. And ISS Above is not officially sanctioned by NASA at all, but this is one of the most amazing things. I never expected to have this be an opportunity for me to go and visit NASA Johnson Space Center. I've been there 4 times now, all because of the ISS Above. NASA loves it in terms of what it does, and it's just provided some really unexpected opportunities, because you just got to think, whoever's out there listening to your to your video, I'm just the guy next door. I'm you. I'm just someone who had a crazy idea because I wanted to impress my grandkids, and it's had me connect to the astronauts on the space station. I met Scott Kelly in January.
Oh my God.
So, I just think this is what's inspired me. This is sort of what the maker movement is all about. It's about you and me, and just do whatever you're passionate about. So, and that's what I've got out of this. So,
I think that's the best quote for Maker Faire is do what you're passionate about. Thank you so much, Liam. And where can people find more information?
just go to issabove.com.
Have a great Maker Faire.
Oh my gosh, Shannon, that looks like so much fun. I wish I could be in there this year.
Yeah, you kind of miss some awesomeness. I really like that Maker Faire actually opened it up to just press and like field trips on Friday before the actual Maker Faire started up on Saturday and Sunday, because it wasn't so overcrowded that I was actually able to get work done. So I actually did 4 interviews. You'll see the other 2 next week.
Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So much fun. Listen, we really have to say, this has been a fantastic show, just covered in all sorts of field trippy goodness, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback. So if you haven't already left a comment below, you can do that, or you can email us feedback@hack5.org. Let us know what you think and what you'd like to see coming up.
And of course, check out our merchandise store over at hakshop.com. That's where you can find all the goodies all the time.
Yes, and you can go over to hak5.org. That's where you're going to find all the shows, in fact. The Metasploit Minutes and the Threat Wires and the Tech Things and the Hack Tips and the Pineapple University. And you could click follow over there and find all of the social networks and all the ways that you can interact with us, because we be all over the social stuffs, my friend.
That's it.
I think that is. With all of that, I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
Trust your Technolust.
No! I'm leaving. No, it's so creepy. I'm gonna get nightmares.
So good. So good.
This reminds me of...
Let's listen to it backwards.
It's about the same. Oh, it's creepy.
So cool.
It's so creepy.